Havana is the gateway to Cuba and is most likely your first stop when visiting the country. It boasts a fascinating history, from its beginnings as a Spanish colonial outpost to its transformation into a glamorous hotspot that attracted the Hollywood elites and famous people like Frank Sinatra, Ernest Hemingway, and Winston Churchill. A lot has changed since the Revolution, however, it still retains its charm and allure. And what could be more iconic than the classic cars that can be found on almost every street corner? The Old Town is the historic heart of Havana, and it was founded here at this very spot in 1519. It's the largest colonial center in Latin America, founded by the Spanish conquistadors as the main port for transporting treasures from the Americas back to Spain. For me, it was the starting point for my intro into the city. I took a free walking tour that provided a bit of history, some politics, and a personal input by our guide on what life is like here in Cuba. It's hard not to be charmed by the Old Town with its Spanish-style plaza, historic sites, colorful buildings, and the bustling side streets with plentiful bars and restaurants. You might notice these upside-down cannons as you walk throughout the Old Town, and they actually are. The Cubans turned them upside down, planted them in the street as sort of a to the Spanish when they left Cuba. A classic car tour is the ultimate way to kickstart your adventure in Havana. These vintage cars have been kept running since the Revolution due to import restrictions. They are running in pristine condition due to engineers they call magicians. I mean, riding in one of these is like going back in time. And what could be cooler than exploring the city in a 1951 Buick? One of the stops on the classic car tours is here in Plaza de la Revolucion. You might recognize the famous building behind me and the picture of Che Guevara with the saying, "Hasta la victoria siempre," until the victory forever. not to be in awe of this impressive building behind me. And you might be saying, that reminds me of a certain Capitol building in Washington, D.C. While similar, it's actually 1 meter wider, 1 meter taller, and 1 meter longer. It was the former seat of the pre-revolutionary government, and it was only just in 2018 that the current government moved back in. It is open to the public for a small entrance fee, so let's head inside. Once the presidential palace of former dictator Batista, today it is the Museum of Revolution. Unfortunately for us, it is closed because it's under renovation. If you do want to visit, I'd advise to check beforehand. However, you can visit the ground next door, which includes an area to see the boat that took Fidel and his revolutionaries to Cuba to begin the revolution, as well as seeing some other military artifacts. Despite the museum not being open, I would still recommend a visit here. Sloppy Joe's bar here in Havana opened in 1917. Some of you might know of the Sloppy Joe's in Key West. This was a popular place during the 20s because of Prohibition, and it attracted Americans for many, many years. Unfortunately, it shut down after the Revolution when Americans had to leave the country. It was shut for 48 years. Only just reopened in 2013. La Guarida is one of the most recommended places to come in Havana. It's expensive in terms of Cuban prices, but if you don't want to come for dinner, definitely come to Bar Mirador. I mean, amazing views, rooftop, great cocktails, and right now I've got the bar almost all to myself. La Floridita is one of the world's most iconic bars. This is where Ernest Hemingway used to frequent during his time in Havana. I'm paying tribute to the man himself right now with what is called a Papa Hemingway daiquiri. As you know, no matter where in the world I am going to endeavor to find a place that serves tacos. Why would Havana be any different? Once a Spanish fortress used to warehouse the treasures that were being transported back to Spain is Castillo de Real Fuerza. For a small fee of 600 pesos, you can enter this fortress, learn a little bit about the history, as well as see some treasures that have been collected over the years, and to top it off, walk up top for some incredible views. Hotel Nacional was opened in the 1930s during Havana's heyday. This is where the who's who of global elites used to come. A-list Hollywood stars, politicians, and all of the mafia. I'm talking big mob bosses like Meyer Lansky and Lucky Luciano. It later served as an outpost during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Today, it's still a hotel and is perched on a hill overlooking the Malecon. Now, if you can't afford to stay here, I would suggest at least coming, checking out the beautiful views, having a cocktail at the bar, and getting some history.
Por el camino del sitio mío, un carretero alegre va. ¿Cómo pasó, compadre? Bueno, como pasó el ciclón por aquí. Acabando con la quinta columna.
The British invasion is alive and well in Havana, and I'm here to prove it. So I'm sitting next to John Lennon in John Lennon Park. I hope this and my other Cuba videos have helped you in planning your trip here. Please drop me a comment. I'd be more than happy to help with any questions you may have. And as always, like and subscribe.